Hello, fellow gamers. As a huge fan of the Fallout franchise, as you can see behind me, I would like to show you how I put this Pip-Boy together. I've had this camera overlay in use for at least 6 years at this point.
Oh.
Let's start with it as a scene in OBS. Here it is standalone. I've done this so that I can move the whole thing as one to add to another source on whatever other scene I need to. It consists of about 25 layers and sources. It used to be a lot more, but OBS and the CPU couldn't cope with everything that it was doing. Let's start with design. I landed on the Pip-Boy 3000 because to me it was nostalgic of seeing my first Fallout game. I liked the older design of it and the colours. The one from Fallout 4 didn't look as good to me. That's the Pip-Boy 3000 Mark 4 or 5, can't remember which one. And the early ones like the Pip-Boy 2000 are very cool looking, but I just liked how the 3000 felt. You'll notice that it's trimmed down a bit, because I didn't want to have the whole thing covering up a lot of the game screen. So the layers. The very bottom layer is a background, either a still file from the Fallout 4 Please Stand By, or a rotating video on loop from the Fallout 3 as a video file. Moving up from there, we have the video source, in my case an AVerMedia PCIe capture card, or full HDMI capture from a full-frame Sony camera. This is not needed, and I've used everything from a PS2 camera to a production camera. Use whatever you have. I then source clone that video layer and then turn off the bottom one, the one underneath it. The source clone is to apply the video effects, where it gets its look from. I've applied 3 effects here: chromatic aberration, an interlace layer, and a CRT layer. These give it a softer, older screen style look, slightly out of focus, a little blur, and a bow to the image, reminding me of my memory of how CRTs used to look. While I don't think they're actually correct and representative of what would have been used at the time, it's good enough for what we're doing here. Apart from that, I created a GIF, not GIF, overlay, which will flash over the webcam. This is to make it look like the video feed is failing, either from static or electrical interference. You know, something nuclear related. Like it's switching between modes without prompting. Above that layer is a sponsor banner, except this isn't sponsored. I use this to rotate the Fallout related images on the Pip-Boy screen. This is something extra to keep the visual interest rather than just a static camera source. Up from that, I went with layers of grit and texture. I've made dirt layers as transparent PNGs in Photoshop for light and dark layers of dirt, all to make it more believable that this would pass for a real screen. Above that layer, I went with VHS video glitches. Like the other moving video layers, this plays into the static interference thing I was going for. It throws up lines and glitches now and again. On this layer, I put a chroma key to only show some parts and let the layers underneath come through. Up the list from that are the text layers. The hexadecimal color code for this is around $DA9E26, which gives a orangey yellow. For this, I just copied the stats, condition, rads, effects, that sort of stuff. I then took the text file from Streamlabs info to add a current subs text file to read from. I added the word camera, drew some lines similar to the actual Pip-Boy, and then the same with my username and followers amount. Where it says level at the middle bottom, the following number is actually the current amount. I played around with putting these on a lower layer to make it more look like it was text on a screen, but they became too dim and illegible, so I had to put them near the top. Right, getting near the top now, I put 3 different layers of cracked glass to make it look beaten and used. The glass layers also have a color correction filter on each one to blend them in. I played around with gloss matte for the upper layer of the screen. I had to go for a combo of the both to make it work. I think this could be improved though. Then the final piece, the bit that makes it look identifiable, the Pip-Boy 3000 layer trimmed as a PNG. I've played with the ideas of other screens and making the buttons move, the stats, items, and data ones, with user-triggered alerts. Maybe in time that'll be a thing. Oh, and above all of that, the main alerts layer, I've crafted a Streamlabs alert box that pops up with all the usual alerts, the follows, bits, etc. I did the same thing as inside the Pip-Boy box, with the text, creating the layout for that. Then they all have their own relevant sounds. So the casino win noise from Fallout for the donations, and the level up sound for followers, etc. All keeping with the theme as much as possible. I also have different terminals doing different things. One for chat, one for game capture, etc. while I'm in a loading screen or a lobby. Something just to break up the same scene now and again. And Bethesda, if you're watching this, consider inviting me to an event to meet you guys. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Maybe it helps some of you decide a variation that you want to do, gives you ideas, or just maybe shows you how to do it. I don't know. Thanks for taking the time to watch this.